I've told them that you're doing a good job taking care of the children and stuff. Yeah, you do great. They love you. All on a motorway. Oh boy. I don't know about this guy's driving, but how does he know where he's going? Yeah.
Driving back running.
Yeah, right. So this is, so you got like a school bus. So this is like a school bus, because over there, like the cars are a lot less cars on the road. So they got the whole school. Yeah, I know, right? All of them. All of them. Look, see all, but they're all wearing helmets, right?
Oh,
Wait,
no.
no, they're not. That's about right. Yeah, they do go slow.
What about
a bit slower.
those children?
So this handsome guy right here, this is my dad, also with New Monmouth Baptist Church, and they're the ones who started it. So I've been coming to New Monmouth for, I'm 34 years old, so 34 years. Every furlough we come back and I go to the church and then I see it, and then when I came back for missions, 7 years ago, I looked at the church and I thought, wait a second, I've been here before. Because every 3 years we come back and visit and see that as well. So this guy here is working on a mimeograph machine. What's the equivalency of what we have? Now this is run without electricity. So what's the electricity version of it? What do we call it? Copy machine. They say it like, do you know if that was a copy machine?
I would guess it is.
You really good?
Or a money machine.
Good. Oh, we have that in the other room, but we don't tell people about that. So yeah, mimeograph machine. So this is what they were doing. We would take this, Dad would take this to these different tribal areas, put it down, and they could print stuff without electricity. And they crank it out, you got all the ink going on there, stencils. It was black. No, wait, you're right, it was. There was black purple. Yeah. It's hard to see, but all these little dots here, this is a village. And in order to go from here, this is a city, so this is a whole city right about here. From the city all the way down to this last dot and back is about a 24-hour ride by off-road vehicle, like up and down and trying to not die. Oh, it's great. Sometimes you're so close to the cliff and looking out and it's just like, woo! But no, don't worry about that. We only lost 2 other missionaries. That was nice, but it's sometimes it's crazy, but it's fun and it's energetic. So we get these villages here, so that now we cross these things off. So now we start showing I grew up showing the Jesus film, but then now that we got the Jesus film going, I was like, hey, let's keep track of this. So the first missionaries, so my parents were, so there's 3 tribes here, you can see. There's yellow, and then green goes up here, and then you got your purple down here, your pink. So we had the 1 missionaries here, my parents, and then we had the other missionaries here and here, and we're all kind of with the same organization, and we're all still connected here. But now, so back then the airplanes would only go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 villages. So the missionaries were kind of isolated on their own, and they could only minister to 5 villages directly by themselves. Now, the government has put in all these dirt roads that go into the middle of nowhere, into the middle of these jungles. And so my wife and I were like, hey, we can take these Bible resources to all the villages that have never had them before. And the villages that have had them, we take those resources, photocopy them, and distribute it to places that haven't had them. So I think a good example is like, so Nick, what pastors do you like listening to online, other than Pastor Jared, of course, that you've heard of, that you enjoy videos?
Tim Keller.
Oh, Tim Keller. So how many times have you heard Tim Keller speak in person?
I've never heard.
Never heard.
I have.
Yeah, have you?
Only for about 18 years.
I have.
So Tim Keller, everything you've learned from Tim Keller that you found valuable for your life or for teaching and training, all that came from Bible resource distribution that someone put on the website, sent in books so that you could get that. And these people have none of that. So all the stuff that you love about Tim Keller, we had, who's the other one? We had Rick Warren, Greg Laurie, I think I mentioned, yeah. So these guys are non-existent. I mean, they exist in that kind of realm that we can get those resources out to these people, but the people can't get any of those resources. So it's like, we got the good stuff. We got these disciples, let's put them together. So now my wife and I, we go out there and we're like, hey, let's show the Jesus film, distribute these things out, and the people get inspired, not because like, oh, Ryan, you did a good sermon, but because we grab things like Tim Keller, world-renowned guys, Tim Keller, Greg Laurie, Jared, you know, and we get their resources. And
Did show you our YouTube channel.
I did see it. It was very well done. Very well done, I tell you. I saw it. It was top-notch. Very good. So then we take these out to these people so they can get inspired by that. And the missionaries that have come before us, like my parents, all the work they did, all the classes they taught. How many books have they come out with teaching their classes? But they teach 20, 30 people at a time. And then they're done and they put the books away and we're like, all right, let's go home and hopefully they do the ministry. And I come in going, Mom and Dad, you guys did so great, but like you taught 1,000 people. There's still 16,000 to go. And they're like, yeah, but you know, we taught them. You know, they did fantastic. And I'm like, give me those resources. So I get them, photocopy them, take them all out to the people. My mom, even still now, she's working on the resources. And I'm like, hey Mom, is this a new one? I start trying to take that from her so I can get it copied out. So we show the Jesus film, and I started keeping track of where we show these Jesus films. Now these are places that like no Westerners have ever been, aside from the missionaries. Westerners don't go to these places. So this is just totally off grid. And so my wife and I started showing the Jesus film, and it just kept going, and these people wanted it, and then it just kept growing, and we were like, what's to stop us from going to, because if the Jesus film gets shown, in the past, it was shown to like 1 or 2 villages in each area, so 2, 4, 6. Now we have, what is this, 100, 200, 300 villages. So out of 100, 300 villages, it's been shown in about 6. Oh, thank you.
I don't know, to show them what that might look like.
Oh, good, yeah. Yeah, so the Jesus film, yeah, here you go, so you can look at this one. So this Jesus film is in the house. We show the Jesus film to like 100, 150 people at once, and they absolutely love it. And so now I'm thinking, what's to stop us from getting this film and the Bible resources to everybody? You know? And I thought to myself, one day I had an epiphany. It was like, bing, nothing. We have the roads, we have the resources, we have the finances, thanks to New Mama. And I was like, let's do this. So now our goal is to just get them everywhere. And right now, even I gave the generator and the equipment and the projector to my right-hand guy, Melky, and he's showing the Jesus film right now, over and over again over there. So even while I'm in the U.S., that's still getting shown. And when I get back to Indonesia, then hopefully we'll be able to get at least two other projectors out for these people that train good leaders, and then they can take it around and show it to all these different places. It just keeps going. It's amazing. So thank you guys for making my dream come true, because this is just like all Disney World for me, getting to do this stuff, because these people have been so isolated for so long, and then now we come in and we're like, whoa, we can do so much good ministry in this place. And in the U.S., we're kind of like bombarded with different theologies and different religions and different concepts. And on one day, this is a good theology. The next day, that guy did something bad. And so now we get rid of that theology. We start with a new one, and it's just like, whoa, was it Rob? What was the guy who did those small videos? Rob Hill? No, anyways. Do you know Nick? Rob Bell, thank you. So then, and on one time, it's like, it's really good. Next one, no, that's not really good. Oh, what just happened? My point is, these people have like almost no one influencing them except us. So it's just a nice, clean Bible theology that we bring in, that the missionaries have read, so they don't have to all this bombarded with, is this true, is that true, is this not, what part of, here we just bring in the Bible, and I'm like, this is great, let's keep doing this now. Let's not wait 5 generations, you know, until things start getting carried away with. Let's do that now. So yeah, some questions and answers. What do you guys
Ryan, I was going to
Yeah.
ask you from the 3 years and change since you were here last. What has been the biggest? I don't know, just something to share in that
Yeah.
3.5 years that you both want to share with us that's happened in the industry.
Yeah.
Is really, you're really excited about.
Yeah, different things. We have the Jesus film has never been produced in their free tribal languages before. So one of the gentlemen there got it started, and I was like, this is good, let's keep this going. So I started working with him, and we started getting the Jesus film translated and written in the script, and then now they're going to get to start that up again in March of next year, get it actually recorded, dubbed, and then be able to show, pass this around here, and then be able to show that in their tribal languages. Plus, I think that, so to answer your question, I think that the basic thing is just what I've got, it's all, and for me to be able to see what kind of ministry is out there. It's just like, whoa, it's like Candyland of ministry that we can do. And these people are up for it and ready for it because Walter and Diana have been respectable for 35 years. So now they're like, you're the son? Okay, yeah, sure, come and do whatever you want. Whereas other people, like the Muslims, come to these tribal areas now. And they don't even go there. They go there for jobs to actually build their roads with the heavy equipment. And then they say, we want to start a mosque here in the tribal area. And the tribal people say, years ago, when we had no clothes and no roads, and we were lost in our ways, the missionaries came and invested their lives into us. And now we love following Jesus. And they say, when we had no clothes, when we had no medicine, when we had none of these things of that we have nowadays, they say to the Muslims, where were you then? And they're like, no, you can't set up a mosque here. It's like now that it's easy to get into our village, if you have a 4x4, you can get into our village. Now you want to bring in Islam. And they're like, no, you missed that. They're like, we got the Christians came in before that when it was hard to come in, and we're going to stick with them. So this is their attitude on it. So it's like, Christians, let's go. So I'm like, this is great. I got Bible resources. Let's bring that in. And then, these audio proclaimers here, just how much they've taken off just to see. Because I come in with my ministry going, like, Walter and Diana have done a fantastic job with training a pastor in each village, 2 pastors in each village, a lady teacher in each one. So I'm like, okay, so what can I do that can carry on that ministry? And I'm like, this is great. I can see the ball rolling. That's hard. To get the ball rolling takes blood, sweat, tears, and they've got it rolling. And I'm like, hey, this is good now, because I can keep this thing going with adding more ministry, more Bible research. Let's keep this ball rolling. So I'm just like pushing this thing that's already moving. I'm like, this is great. This is going so much faster now.
It's like the snowball's growing.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying.
Yeah. And it's just amazing, and we love it, and it just keeps going. The openness to it. The people over there, when they ask for something at times, like if you have if they found out you were giving out Bibles, they won't say to you, hey, can I have a Bible? Like half the time what they say is, hey, you gave them Bibles, you need to give me a Bible. Is how they ask for it. So it's kind of like a veiled threat, like
Yeah.
and it's so funny. So
Did they ever live in New York?
yeah. Oh yeah, that's where they're from originally.
That's what I'm thinking.
So it's amazing because then we'll pass out Bibles to one village and get that out there, and we didn't know, we just didn't go to the other villages. We're working on focus here. We got it going. So these other guys will come to us and say, hey, listen, you gave them 100 Bibles, but you didn't come to our village, so you got to come to our village and you have to give us Bibles. And I say, no, I say, and we're like, yeah, this is great. We'll bring the Jesus film too. We'll bring games. And they're like, oh yeah, no, this would be great. So I work with the younger generation from that tribe, and they come with me. So we kind of have a rombongan, what's it called, an entourage of different groups, and they all come in there and they introduce each other and they speak a language. So one guy translates in one language, the next language. It's just amazing.
Are you finding villages from the tribes getting along?
Yeah, actually we are. Usually those 3 tribes, well, they work together at times, but a lot of their ministries don't cross over. So you have the Hatam, so it's a total of 50,000 people. So it's a huge number. And a lot of them intermarry and a lot of them have that there, but usually so far, the ministries have been kind of separate. So, me and my vast knowledge and wisdom, I said to one guy, hey, I'm going to go show you Jesus film. You want to come with me? He's from the Soap Village. He says, yeah. I said, okay. And then I go over here. I'm saying to the Hot Town guy, hey, I need your help. He says, okay, I'll come with you. And I go to the other guy with the Maya guy, and I said, hey, I'm going to your village. I need someone to translate. He says, okay, I'll come. Thanks. And then we keep going to all these villages. Next thing I know, God's used that to help all the villages realize that the Maya, the Hot Town guy are all working together to show the Jesus film, to do these different resources, to create. And they're like, this is a great idea. Let's keep doing this. So when I would show the film, like in just the Hot Town area where I just bring one guy, I invited the other guys as well from the Sobe and the Mayor group. And I said, come with me. They said, we'd love to. So it's like the highlight of their day, their week right there. Like, yeah, let's go. So they come in, they were going up and down, they would go to places they've never been before, because that's a different tribe. And so now they start getting along with, they've been getting along, but now they kind of open up and they're like, wow, these resources. And my mom's like, wow, Ryan, you've unified big tribes. And I'm like, what happened? Yeah, that's what I meant to do. Sure, yes, that's, I planned that, I think, yeah. Hey, Bobby, come here. I'm going to show you Jesus film. Perfect, thank you. That's what I do. More questions? What else we got?
How did you meet Mandy?
Oh, after years and years and years of her asking, I finally said yes. Do you know that quote?
Something very similar I say about Andy.
You saw I was a youth leader at church, and she came in to help with the youth as well. Then
In
Florida.
yeah, in Florida. Yeah, in Florida. Yeah, I was a youth pastor for a while there with high school youth. And then she came in to help, and then we got to know each other, and I was asking her a bunch of Bible questions. She was asking me Bible questions, and we just kept asking, talking. And then finally, she said, I said, is this Bible stuff boring you? And she's like, no, I love this stuff. This is really good. And she said something like, yeah, this would be great. I'd love being a missionary in Indonesia. And I'm like, I gotta marry her now. Who wants to go to Indonesia? Really? It's like banana tree, missionary wife. Yeah. No, not really running into that. Yeah. She felt head over heels.
What does it look like, after people come to know the Lord or they watch your video? Obviously, in those far-reach villages, there's not sustainable ministry there yet.
Yeah.
But even places that you have raised up pastors and stuff, is it similar to it is here, like discipleship? Is it small group? I mean, you mentioned it before. Is it
very good? It isn't, and we're getting that stuff going.
Nice.
So that we're kind of right at that sort of area there. So that's good, because we don't want to just show the Jesus film and then bye, and then leave. But that's what we do. So it's like, wait a second, how can we work through this stuff? So we actually have, so this is one concept here. So we go in these different tribal areas. We got the pastors there. So the next step is we're working on getting books that are lined up, made with the Jesus film. And there's 7 books. And each of them talks about, this book is about everything about God, and this one's about Jesus, this is about salvation, this is about sin and repentance. And so we're getting those books translated into the people's tribal language. So we can go in there, hand them, 20, 30, 50 of those resources to the pastor. And then anyone interested, he can start that Bible study going. So that next week he can teach on God. And then they all get to do that. And then the next week he teaches on salvation, the Holy Spirit. And then next week and so while we're gone, he's still teaching them all this stuff.
What about even closer to where you live, or the ministry, just where there already is churches and stuff? It's similar to what we do here as far as discipleship, small group, kids ministry. Is it take
because it was designed by the Western missionaries.
All right, so it's pretty similar.
Pretty similar, yeah. And there's some minor differences, but they love it. One group missionary did Awana over there. That was huge. That just blew up. That was amazing. So I'm kind of I got to contact her. We're friends on Facebook. I got to contact her. She's I don't know, she was a missionary there for 30 years maybe. So I'm trying to follow up in her footsteps. Hey lady, this worked really good. Don't leave, Do give me the info so I can keep that going too. Yeah.
So how much of this ministry is tied to like local churches?
All of it. Yeah. Which is amazing because then we're just getting them
So
involved.
you host the viewings at local churches?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, in the tribal areas. Yeah, local in the tribal areas, and they just invite everybody. So brother, uncle, aunt, friend. You get like a village of like 100 people in that village. We'll get like 200 people show up. Or like 100 people in that village. Yeah, 200 because they're inviting other villages to come, and then we'll have those pastors come from farther villages. Walk for like 2 days or something to get to our village, and they're like, wow, this is so good, you gotta come back and do it at ours. And so I'm like pulling out my map. It's raining, I'm getting my map wet, I'm holding it going, what village are you? You know?
Ryan, when you're arriving do they know that you're coming, or are you just showing up?
Yeah, the pastor's got it coming. The people usually dress up like this,
Yeah.
and they're all like, whoa, and getting excited about you coming, and the people are thrilled, and they're just glad to have, some foreigner coming in a sense, a Westerner. They get excited about it. They do a big pig roast and stuff like that. It becomes quite an event. So if the people aren't there for the Jesus film, they're there for the fellowship and stuff, and they get to see it.
But Ryan, how does that local pastor contact you to set up the Jesus film?
Through his brother, who has a cell phone, who called me, who called the other guy, who got in touch with me. Yeah. Yeah. So, or that guy, when we showed it at one place, then he was at that one, so he was like, let's do this. So he gets in contact with my entourage guy, who then sets it up. Then we come up with a date, and then you send him back, and then sometimes they come out of the village area, they walk out, they come out, and then we set them up with something, send them back, and we don't hear from him for 2 or 3 months, and hopefully when we get there, he's following the schedule, and he's got his people ready. And it's turned out really good so far.
For the villages that have like established churches already, of what do you know the percentage of the village that kind of identifies as Christian compared to that don't want anything to do with it?
Great question. And you know what? The work that God's done through Walter and Diane and these other missionaries, every village has a church in it. Yeah, or two. It's just growing. Yeah, they're going back. They're working on cancer stuff and medical stuff, and they're getting through that, and then they'll head back over and keep writing. Mom's writing resources right now in these tribal languages that, right now, how many people, other than the tribal people, the people that speak it in the world are free. Free Westerners speak that language, so she's working on that.
When do you go back?
Same time as them, about 8 months from now. So we'll get over there and keep going.
So do you have a staff, are they volunteers, or are you able to pay staff, and what's your ministry look like when you're not out on visiting the tribes?
Yeah, it's a good question. So we don't have a paid staff. It's all my friends and the people I work with in these different areas, and they're very ministry minded. So they're ready to help. So it's like a full-time staff in a sense. They're just ready to help. So I send them resources in one language, and I say, can you get these in another language? So they start working on that. And then they have someone check it and make sure it's good. Then they get it back to me, and I'll produce it, and I ask them, hey, come join me. We're going to go distribute these things. Where should I distribute them? And then they say, these 5 villages. I say, perfect, let's go. And we distribute it out.
So they have other jobs to support them?
Yeah, I think, yes, they have, they're normally farmers.
Okay.
So they just like,
Sure, they've got.
whether they have a job or not, they're kind of like, we have our garden,
Yeah.
and we'll do ministry when it comes up. We'll do ministry. They're always available.
And what's your Sunday morning service? Do you have a service right there?
No, we go to one of the churches in the city,
Oh, you, okay.
in the town where we're located. Yeah, we've been going to one that was good for our firstborn. They had a Sunday school class, and we were able to get her involved with Sunday school and sitting down, getting involved with them and just getting to do stuff. And then we brought a relatively cheap DVD player that folds up like this, one of the older kind of ones there. And so we brought in these Jesus film cartoons, and the Apostle Paul, and then the Shadrach, Meshach, and the bed we go. And we bring these things, and we push play on this thing, and this wasn't even, we weren't even trying to do ministry, this was just set up there. And so all of a sudden the kids are watching it too, in the Sunday school. And then the lady says, hey, listen, you gotta come back next week, bring this again, and we'll invite everybody to get together. So we're just doing like 3-year-olds, you know, that's all we're doing right now. This wasn't, next thing you know, we got middle school. How many kids do we have? I think we have a photo. Yeah, it was a photo of Mandy and there. It was like, how many kids? 45 kids in the Sunday school. So we put on the cartoons there and we just kept showing it to them. Each cartoon costs about $1 to buy. So it's like, let's just keep showing these things. The kids are watching it and then everyone's watching it and I'm like, whoa, this is just one church. If we weren't trying to do ministry, if we were trying to, we could get to 15 churches in that city alone. And they're just like, come on in, let's do this thing. Then we train other people to do something simple like that, where they have electricity, so they don't need generator, solar power. They just plug in that little DVD player and then push play, and all of a sudden their kids are growing up on Bible videos that otherwise they wouldn't have. I don't know about you guys, I grew up on Bible videos. You grew up on what is it? Superbook or Greatest Adventure Stories from the Bible, or not VeggieTales, but that's the next generation. Anyway, so when I would watch that stuff growing up, I was getting like seminary education for a child. Like that sort of level met me at that level. And then I went on to the next one, and the next one, I was like, this is so good. Then when you get to high school, like, I know more about the Bible than my friends do. And I'm like, how do I know that? I don't know that. I just grew up watching it. And so I'm like, that would be cool for all these kids too. So these kids, their parents were the ones that got to learn about God from the Bible, from the missionary. But now I'm like, let's not wait till these kids who are 2 and 3 to become 40 to first learn about the Bible. Let's start teaching them now when they're young at 2, 3, 4, or 5 years old, so they keep growing and just gets better and better. Yeah. Thank you guys. Appreciate your time there, and thanks for coming over. It's a good group of people. I don't think we could fit any more in here, so
Thanks so much.
yeah, thank you guys. Thank you, Dan and Corinne, making this happen, bringing all the dessert out there. Oh, one last thing. Thank you, new mom. No, yeah, one more thing. So during COVID, everyone in the city area, everyone was told to like stay home, don't go to church. Churches got shut down for a while. So my dad was like, how can we minister to these people? So he came up with a Facebook page. He had I don't know, you heard his testimony. He had a habit of collecting friends from these tribal group he worked with, the Hot Town people. And so he just collected them as friends on Facebook, never did anything with it. Then, when COVID hit, he said, you know what? I'm gonna make a group. Put all my Hot Town guys, youth, girls, kids, adults, put them all in one group. I'm gonna write devotionals for them. So he got them all on one group, and it just keeps growing and growing and growing massively fast. And so we're like, how do these tribal people have Facebook? Somehow they have internet, they have a phone, and they have Facebook. We're like, what is going on? So Dad keeps, even now, he's been doing it loyally, and he keeps writing these devotionals. Anyways, so we're talking tribal area. If you get like a group of like 100 people on a group of Facebook for these tribal people, like that, you've done something right. You know how many he's up to? I bet you can guess. 16,000 people. Wow. Now, granted, that's also including people outside of the tribe who, I don't know, they just jump in, and the Indonesians coming in as well. But the thing is, he goes on there, he types one devotional, and he can reach, in a sense, more people in a morning than he has in 15 years. Because 15 years, no Facebook, and the only way you can get places by airplane. So now he's just doing that, and it's like amazing. Anyways, my point is that it just hit 16,000 recently, so I want to make a video for him, and I need your help to do that.
Do it.
So I'm gonna say something like, hey Dad, this is New Monmouth Baptist Church, and we want to congratulate you for getting, and then I'm gonna pan around and you guys say 16,000 members, and I'll send that to him tonight. It's a good encouragement for him, yeah, because he's just doing this stuff, and the numbers are going through the roof, and I'm going, Dad, the stuff I learned in college and seminary don't even do this stuff. Like, you're blowing the roof through this. And he goes, I didn't know. And that's just it. I'm like, whoa, let's congratulate this guy for doing good. Okay, here we go. This might take a few times when we try to get it right. All right, hey, let's practice first. Ready? Look. Hey, Dad, this is a new mom at Baptist Church. Congratulations for reaching
16,000 members.
You good? Oh, members. You guys are good. Okay, here we go. Hey, Dad, here I am at New Monmouth Baptist Church, and we want to say congratulations for reaching
16,000 members.
All right. Oh, I forgot to push your All right. Thank you so much, everybody. I know you guys have spent your time coming out today after a long day and stuff, so I will turn it maybe over to Pastor Jared, or back to Dan and Corinne.
Oh, I'm gonna. That was it? That little boop?
I think it's.
Okay.
That was me.